Hello, 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 my friends, and welcome to a video for my design team series for Include a Thank You. I am so thrilled and so happy to be back on track and making some videos here for my other design teams. So life takes over, right? I moved, I had other commitments I needed to get caught up on, start a new job, get into, the swing of things. I've been still posting some cards on social media, doing my regular lives on Wednesdays for another design team, and now I am back on track to get some videos out for Include a Thank You. And I have been in the back of my head, knew what stamps I wanted to do for this reboot of my Include a Thank You videos, but I was looking for some inspiration, and I found some on Pinterest. And I forgot to write the lady's name, but I will link this post in the description below for you. And it just seemed to fit, and I've done two versions of it. I'm going to make one version of it for you here, and then I'll show you. I just made another one out of scraps because I thought this would be a great scrap buster too with all the other backgrounds that I have. So let me show you the inspiration card here first. So this is the inspiration, and I loved the wood look of this, that rustic look of this. And so that's what caught my eye on this particular card, was just that designer series paper on here of the wood and the layout. The layout was perfect because I want to use the triangle stamps in some form. And I had it in my head what I wanted to do. This is not even close to what I wanted to do. But once I found this layout, it was perfect. And then I came up with other ideas for those squares. So we're going to do this layout. I've interpreted the concept of it as far as not designer series paper, but we're going to make our own wood paper. Then I use scraps to show you another version of that. So before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me here on YouTube, as well as Manly Made Minute on Instagram. I do hops, I do inspiration stuff, I do all kinds of stuff on Instagram as well that you won't see on YouTube. So would love to have that thumbs up and have you subscribe. Let's go down to my down camera, show you the stamps I want to use, show you my layout, and then show you my first card, and then we're going to make the inspiration card with some wood grains. So let's just take a look here. All right, this is and I'm going to throw the card back up on the screen. So this is the layout for this card. And we're going to do the triangles. I just didn't do the triangles because I didn't feel like I needed to. But I measured this out to fit onto this card, all right? So I have the card base layer, I call it. So this layer, the wood grain layer, this is 2 inches by 1 and 3/8. Then my matte layers are going to be 2 1/4 by 1 and 5/8. And I will put that in the description for you as well as the size of the card base that I'm using. I believe I did 5 1/4 by 4 because I did 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 for my matte base of this as well. And I'm mimicking kind of the same concept with the black and the Kraft and all that things on that one. So this is my layout that we're going to mimic. Here are the stamps that I want to incorporate into this. I know I went a little overboard, but I've been craving to do these new stamps that she came out here of her last release. So I'm using this stamp set, which was a tangled floral box. I'm going to use a tangled block. And then I'm going to go and use a goodie but oldie here, a tangled moment with the triangles, which are going to go on the top where that square or triangle pieces are up there. So those are the stamps that we're going to use. We're going to recreate, though, that wood grain. Now let me show you a card that I made with this same layout. So I went through, we've all seen me do this on my Scrappy Shorts videos, right? My scrap bucket with all my backgrounds and all kinds of stuff. I dug through this and found some that were kind of matchy-matchy. And so I got out these scraps. Okay. I cut these down to those square sizes. And then or the rectangles, because I used this color here I believe I did for the rectangles, but the yellow and blue portion of it. And I cut these out, and then look at the card that I came up with. So my purpose of this is to show you inspiration. So this was my inspiration. I had stuff in here I could use to make this and recreate, and we're going to recreate it as well. But look at this card. Did that not turn out super cool with the different patterns in there? And these were already backgrounds I had made. I just didn't like them at the time, or I was practicing and shoved them away, and now they were perfect for this card. And then I used the hello sentiment from, I think this one was from, is this from the, yeah, this is from the Tangled Moment one with the triangles. And then I just used it on blue paper, white embossed that, and threw it on top. So this was my first attempt at this inspiration. Now we're going to go for that inspiration and then still stamp this stuff over the top of that wood grain, and to get that same kind of look. So let's get started. Let's dive into this. I am just super excited to get going on some included thank you stuff. I love, 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 love her stamps. Love her designs. Love her concept. As a design team member, I'm telling you, she just says, do whatever you want. I don't care. Just do your thing and show off my stuff, and that's what I love about it. All right. I have done this wood grain before, but I'm mixing in some blue because this one over here had some blue, so I'm mixing in some blue. But usually when I've done this before, I've done the peacock feathers on a little light brown, embossed it with wood grain so that it pops up, and then the popped up side, I run over brown so that peacock or that antique is in between the wood grain. I'm not going to emboss this. I'm going to keep this flat this time. So we're just going to layer this on, de-stress this out, and do these same colors, but I'm adding in my prize ribbon. But I usually use Rusty Hinge, Ground Espresso, Walnut Stain, and Peacock Feathers when I do this wood grain effect. All right? I'm going to start with my lightest, which is here. And I just had some sort of weird little, like, sunburst thing. And I don't know if that was my camera or the sound effect. That was weird. All right. Hopefully my camera doesn't go out on me, because hopefully that's not a burnout situation, but we'll find out what that was. If I go out, and we'll just start over. All right. All you do with these is you're just going to swipe. This is like the easiest effect that you can do. I'm going to throw down a good amount because I like this color to pop through. Okay? As I do this, I'm going to use the edges to create some more grain, but we'll get there. Now I'm going to go to my Rusty Hinge. And I'm not going to use a lot of pressure because I want to layer this. And feel free to start in the middle, like you get those wood planks starting in the middle. Go back and forth a little bit so you get those lines of that wood grain in there. I need to fix my glass mat, I think. I had put little rubber things on the bottom. I think one fell off, and now it's all wobbly, and I keep forgetting to check. All right. I'm already getting some cool effect in there. I'm going to throw in my blue so I can mask in some of that blue now around my brown, and I might go through with more Rusty Hinge, but we'll see. Now, with my blue, I'm going to give this, I'm going to kind of go, it's hard to do like little strips because I don't have the minis here with me at this studio. So I'm just going to have to go with wide strips, but we're going to do just a couple wide strips. And I might just vary this just a little bit. Just so I get that variegated. Now I'm going to go through on the edges here and just use the edge and get some darker little pieces in there. Okay. And I'm just kind of rolling it on that edge. All right, let's get my brown in here. I'm going to start with my walnut stain, which is a little bit more of a warmer brown. Then I'm going to cover it up with some of that ground espresso just to get that in there. Now, when you cut this down, I know, and I don't think I've ever done a piece this big before. I usually just do the card base and then emboss it and add the brown on top, and it looks fantastic, right? But I haven't done a piece this big. But I already know I'm going to knock some of this brightness down. I'm using the edge, just like I did the blue. I'm just going to knock some of that down just to bring that brightness down from it. All right, and now my espresso. It just cools it down just a little bit. I'm digging that. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't need this too dark, but now that it's a little darker than probably what I really anticipated, but that is okay. And I could have just did more of a think there's evergreen bough or something similar to that one, but I wanted this look. I actually think I might go ahead and emboss this instead to make this pop off of this. Actually, you know, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, we're going to cut my pieces down, and then we're going to emboss those pieces, okay? Did not intend to emboss this at all. Pardon me. But that is okay. Because you know what? That's kind of what happens when we make stuff, right? We start with an idea. I feel like that got a little darker than I wanted. I got a little heavy-handed with the ink, but I still like it. I actually still like this. And I know as I cut this up, it'll give me what I'm looking for. But I still like it. So now what I need to do is cut these down to 4 pieces. Okay? And my pieces need to be 2 inches by 1 3/8. All right, so I'm going to go 2 inches this way. Oops, not score it. 2 inches by 1, and I just want to double check my mat. 1 3/8. So 1, 2, and 3. 1 3/8. They look small, but they are. When I actually pre-measured these, I was like, ooh, those seem really small. Until I laid them out in the cart, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's. I did my math right. I'm not the best at math, but I did do the math right. All right, there's my 4 pieces, and look it. I like how I got some more of the blues, more of the greens on a couple of those pieces. So by going intermittent on that piece of paper, you're gonna vary that a lot. I love how that is turning out. Okay, I'm gonna come back to these because we're gonna do the triangles right on them, and we're gonna fussy cut those out. All right, now I'm gonna just give these a little blast of heat because I am using distress and distress oxides, and I need them to be dry so that I can heat emboss them. I will powder over them too, but let me grab this. As I'm drying, I'm just grabbing my embossing stuff because I apologize. I had no intention of embossing these. I'm gonna keep drying them as I set up here. All right, just a little bit of heat because I'm gonna powder them anyway. Now, because these are small and these stamps are kind of big, I tape them in the middle. You can see where I did my first card where I was taping it off. I'm just going to use that same spot as my guide to do this. Let me move these inks out of the way. I just put a little tape runner on it, like one little strip there, and I just lined it up on a couple lines. So I'm going to use those same lines so that it just stays lined up where I want them. And, all right, we're going to grab our stamp sets. Now, what I love this one, and I can actually use any of these. Since I originally was going to lay this out on the card as one and then a couple blocks, I use this one. I'm gonna use this one this time. I love this whole stamp set, actually. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it. I don't even care where the pattern lays down, how it lays down. Don't care. That's just the way, that's just the beauty of doing this. And I'll tell you, what really got me started with this was, you know, I've seen so many videos lately and so many card makers, experienced and new and in between, talk about inspiration from others. And you know what? Because I want to call her out, let me, I'm going to grab my phone off screen here, and I'm going to look this up really quick. I'm going to put it in the link as well, but I really, truly want to give credit where credit is due for this one. I found it on Pinterest, and it is under the Stamp Camp, which was by Glenda, Glenda, Calkins, Calkins, the Stamp Camp, is where I got my inspiration on this. And I just think you find inspiration, I mean, whether it's somebody else's or not, who cares? Call it out. I got my inspiration from this person. I am not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just putting my own spin on it because I was looking for something to use these stamps with, right? And when this came up, I thought these patterns would look great against that wood grain. And it just popped at me. I was actually looking for something that I could maybe put like the triangles in a row down the side or the fold of the card or something, because I wanted to use the triangles. Honestly, I just started out by I wanted to use the triangles, and this one just popped out at me. All right, set that aside. We're gonna just put the next one down. It's probably time to change my paper because it's starting to rip quite a bit. I got a new Misty stamp tool here, and I need to get my sticky pad that goes inside. All right, that's that one. I'm gonna use a lot of stuff here because I want a different pattern on each one. All right, so that's good on this one. I don't want to use any more from this one. I want to use I'm gonna use pretty much three out of the 4 little spots of the squares, and we're gonna go here. And it doesn't have to be squared. Lay this as wonky as you want to lay this. I'm going to lay this so that my lines are kind of coming from the one side, kind of going out on mine. Okay, pick that up and run some embossing on it. But anyway, get inspiration from anybody, anywhere, right? Put your own little spin on it. As long as if it's not just copying completely, but if you're copying completely, just say, hey, I love this card by so and so, I want to recreate it. I'm recreating it. But I'm just calling out that this was not my design. This was inspiration I found, and it just fit perfectly for the stamps that I wanted to do and what I was looking to do. And I was kind of looking for like a nice card template kind of layout for these. I'm kind of feeling I'm kind of just feeling fun folds and card templates and stuff lately with some of the stamp sets I've been working with. So, and that's just where my inspiration stuff is coming from. All right, that one's hard to see if I even emboss, but I did it 3 times. So I'm gonna emboss these 2 before I schmutz them and mess them up or do something. And then we'll do the other ones. I'm going to do gold. I'm using the Ranger Ink Superfine Gold. I like the Superfine, especially with these detailed stamps and things like this, especially with sentiments. I love my Superfine embossing powders. Love, love, love. All right. I'm just going to pick this up with my tweezers. Tap that off, and I didn't powder this one, so we're going to give this one a good tap to get as much of that off as I can. We may end up redoing this one, but let's just see. Let's give it a try. Since I didn't powder it, let's give it a try. If it catches some of the wood grain, I actually might be happy with it, because if you look at that picture, some of that grain, if that catches some of that grain, I actually might just keep it and have some of the design in between. Oh no, I think I got a good impression on that. I'm happy with that. Bring that up. I'm crazy happy with that, actually. Sorry to giggle. That just made me kind of giggle because I was like, I am kind of digging. I did not intend to emboss this, and then the colors are kind of cool. All right, let me just tap that a little bit more. Easy card to put together too. I'm telling you, when I did my other one with my scraps, I bet you I put that little thing together in probably 15 minutes. It took me just a little bit to measure. All right, look at that one. It's not the coolest. It kind of gives this almost a vintage antique hardwood floor. I'm almost picturing a Victorian house with old hardwood floors for some reason with this. All right, gonna get out my other 2 designs here. So now I'm getting out the big stamp, and this is from the block set. 2 more to go. And then we'll do the triangles. Same thing here. I'm going to go kind of wonky on that. Doesn't need to be totally straight on there. All right, that was kind of center. So if you are new to Include a Thank You, head on over to includeathankyou.com. She's got everything Zentangle inspired. That Zentangle heart, one of my faves. The Zentangle leaves, one of my faves. And then this one, which was in her last release, a Tangled Floral Box, one of my faves. I have a video out on one of those that I did with melted crayons. And you need to check that out. And maybe I'll link that video at the end screen, for you to check out. Really cool effect, really fun to do. And I'm telling you, I got a box of crayons, like at the dollar store. Super cheap. I don't even remember. They might be, yeah, they're Crayola brand. I see them in my drawer right next to me. Super cheap, but a fun technique to do. All right, we'll do this last one with the last of my boxes. So I'm just using, bring this back in here in a second. I'm just using all 3 of these big box designs to now emboss this instead of just stamp it. I'm actually kind of surprised I decided to why I didn't think to emboss this in the first place. I'd really like to emboss. I just don't know why I didn't do it right away. I was trying to make it, I think I was just trying to make it simple, which, I mean, it's not hard to emboss, but all right. All right, let's emboss these last 2 pieces. Then we'll do my triangles, cut those out, and we can assemble with a sentiment in there. And gold. If you have not done this wood grain technique either, you gotta try it. I just Googled, and Pinterest, to be honest, wood grain patterns, wood grain colors, I think, and I wanted a patina. So I think I actually typed in patina too, because I wanted a patina look. And then I just started practicing on some of these swiping techniques to get the color I wanted and the effect I wanted, and then it really changes when you use an embossing folder, because you get the different depths of colors popping through. I can't remember. I might have did a video on it some time ago. You'd have to look at my channel. If I did, I can link that too. I feel like I did, but I don't remember if it was just for a card or if it was the actual technique itself. If I don't, I'll make one. I'll do one with how I do it. Just how I've done it, what works for me, the look that I like. If you do it better, fantastic. Please share, because then I'd want to learn how to do it. If you've got a better way, I would love to know. But all right, I'm gonna put these aside. Oh wait, you know what? Let's get out where's my scrap strip here? Right here we go. And we're just gonna do the triangles and get those done. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles. Just pick which ones you want. I like some of these swirly cue ones, and then this one that's florally. And we're just gonna lay those out, because we're gonna fussy cut these out anyway. Pick them up, reposition. The powder, that is our best friend, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what it is with embossing. I think about every other time I go to emboss, I forget to powder, and then I'm cleaning it off, I'm repowdering. It's just a step that for some reason, sorry about the wobbling noise, it just doesn't stick in my head. I'm just telling you, I forget about every other time. And I have nobody to blame and get aggravated with except for myself. But seriously, it's like, you would think after this long I would remember. And I feel like if I don't get it out, like you saw me get out my supplies, if I don't get it out with my supplies right away, I forget. But if I get it out with my supplies, then I'm usually pretty good about it. All right. Last two, and then we'll fussy cut. Oh yeah, I can tell those triangles are going to look really cool. Heat it up. One little trick with your heat embossing, I get a little anxious and it'll going fast, especially when I'm recording, but let that gun heat up a little bit. Once it hits that powder, it'll melt it much nicer and quicker and smoother. Give it a little heat up first before you start swiping it on, because it'll just smooth out much nicer. So give that about 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds to give a good heat going on it. All right. I am not going to use fussy cutting shears. I'm going to use my big ones, just because these are really just straight edges, and I just want to get a good swipe on these. And I'm only just rounding the corners, and I can manage that with my big shears. Let's get that just a little closer. I mean, this shape is about as easy to fussy cut out as you can get, really. 3 straight edges. Who wouldn't want to fussy cut these all day long, right? And let's just round that a little tighter. All right. Do this last one. And I'm going to go black mattes on Kraft, like my inspiration photo. Put this away because I will be the first to dump that, I can tell you that much. All right, yes, I'm going to use these pieces. Did it slip under? It sure did. Okay. Glue these down, and then we'll do it on the brown, or excuse me, we'll do the triangles on the black and just cut around them. Ooh, that pops nice off that black too. Very nice off that black paper. Sometimes, because I'm honestly really digging this gold embossed on it, so sometimes these little mistakes turn out to be happy, and if anybody asks, we'll just tell them intentional mistakes. Oh yes, I absolutely had this in mind and was going to do this when I designed this out. Of course I was. Don't be afraid of your mistakes. Just sometimes go with it. I can't even tell you how many times I have smudged stuff. I have gotten an extra spot of black ink I can't get off, or red ink I can't get off. Sometimes I'll just either throw it in my scrap bucket and come back to it and figure it out later, or just keep working the card, because then I can usually try to figure out, oh, you know what? If I put my flower here on this side instead of this side, I can cover that up with my sentiment or something, right? So sometimes those are good and intentional mistakes that will they work themselves out. They just really do. I need to grab a little piece of black paper. So I can do my triangles. And what I do is I just glue them down on one straight edge, one edge less to cut, and just give it about the same as everything else for the amount around it. And we're just gonna go right here, actually. right? And then I just fussy cut around that. No measuring, no math on this. That is triangular too hard to even try. Especially the stamp, it's kind of rounded and it's not gonna happen. That was just as easy. All right, around, and I will assemble, and we can throw a sentiment on here really quick as well. Fussy cutting with those large shears, that's a challenge. That's a challenge right there, I tell you what. Okay, now, it's not done there, so I'm going to resist the urge to do some edging on this. I'm going to keep it clean like that one, okay? Now, I just got to double check because I think this is cut to the same size. Yes, it is. So I'm going to go, I did 5 1/4 by 4 on my sample card. So I just took this down 1/4 of an inch, okay? From that A2 size. All right, then you just space these out and line them up. And I kind of look at the colors, so this actually worked out good. More blues and more patinas going this way, so it balances out. So I kind of balance that out. Now I'm getting it about centered and eyeballing how much I need around the edge. And I can see that, so then I just eyeball. If you are a mathematician and you can figure out how to center this perfectly, have at it. I just eyeball. I line it up, and then I'm going to line up the next one with that one, and the edges on the top. And I'm going to leave a little bit more gap in the middle because I know that's where my triangles are going to go anyway. Okay. Like so. I'm just watching my edge to make sure I got the same amount of border around, and then lining up my edges there. And then easy peasy on this last one, you just line it up with everything else. You can see I have not been concerned on which direction the pattern is or anything. I'm not putting that much thought into it and stressing myself out. Okay, let's put this down onto my card base before I pop up those triangles. I am thinking this looks pretty darn rich, if I don't say so myself. That black and craft combo is so cool. All right, now this was just going to go up on some dimensionals, all right, for my triangles. And create that little center point. Like so. And I'm already thinking in my head, I think I'm going to do craft for my sentiment. And I'm just debating if I'm going to emboss it or just stamp in black. I feel like I might just stamp in black. All right, let's just see here. I am kind of looking at the pattern of the wood on these to see. That actually kind of works out good because those I think that's okay. All right. And then I line up my point here. Let's go this way because that point's a little more pointier. Fix it just a tiny bit. A little wonkus things on there. And then I center it to the middle. And then I just butt this one up against it. And I've kind of created that one in there, guaranteed that was probably just a square. It looks like 2 triangles, but that's where my inspiration came from, was doing this. And we're going to go this way now. And I'm just going to line those up, line up my point here with the top edge of these. like so. Bring that down just a little. I am digging how this has turned out. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's do a quick sentiment, because I think I'm just gonna stamp it out and not emboss it. I think there's plenty of gold embossing on here, and we don't need to do any overkill. And let's do, I want kind of a nicer, bigger one like I had on the other one. And this one had the biggest ones out of these stamp sets. So hello, a moment in time, be kind, or hi. And I'm kind of liking, be kind, I think. Yeah, let's do be kind. I'm going sideways, so I just have room to fussy cut. That's the only reason why. And we're gonna get out, I'm gonna use VersaFine because that is kind of a finer font. So my VersaFine, just, I like how that stamps out on my finer sentiments. I'm not squishing a whole lot. I will stamp this a couple times if I need to. Boy, that one impression isn't so bad though. All right. 2 is good. All right, we're gonna fussy cut this out. No dies with this, so you're gonna have to either do a strip, which I could do kind of a I wonder if I could do an angular strip. Oh man, I wonder if I could make that stretch. No, I'm not gonna try. If I would have pre-thought about that, I would have did an angular strip and lined it up with those triangles. So this is just gonna have to do no dies with these sets. So if you're gonna do anything with, like I had to cut the triangles out and sentiments and things, so just know that there are no dies, but I'm telling you they are doable. So again, head on over to includeathankyou.com. Check out what she's got. She's got some great Zentangle designs. I didn't let this dry as I should have, and I got some fingerprints on there. Plus my hands are just a little sweaty. I have to turn off the air in here, or you can hear it when recording, and so it gets a little toasty. All right, that's good enough. All right, let's pop this one up to a few little dimensionals. I cut them because I just know the squares aren't gonna fit totally. I could probably get one nice full square right in that middle though. Right there. Man, I'm telling you, I'll show you on the front camera when we're done here. This is really, really rich looking. The combo of all this is just so cool. You can't see the separation like you can on hers except for here, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, to be honest. Oh yeah, look at that. I am happy with that. And you know what? I should have did this before I put this on, but I'm going to take just a little bit of gold. It's like a gel pen. Let me just get a little bit going here. I'm going to take a little gel pen and just give this a little accent, just to get a little pop off of my craft paper. Just random. Just give it a little something. And then Shawn's got to decide when he needs to stop. And we're good right there. All right, I will hold this up. Look at that. Did that not just turn out rich as rich can be? I am so glad that happy mistake of embossing happened on that, because that just pops. My inspiration right there to this. How cool is that? I will tag her in there. I'm going to tag my other video if I can find it. I believe I have one where I did the wood grain. I'll tag that in my description below for you. But let's go to the face camera. And I want to show this from the front side and get that to focus here. Come on. I think it's shining, so it's trying to focus on that. Usually that one focuses. Oh, there we go, a little bit better. I am extremely happy with this one. So I feel like get yourself some inspiration. If you have, even if you got a certain stamp set, my inspiration started because I wanted to do these triangle stamp sets. That's where I started. Then I started just looking for inspiration. I actually went and watched a couple of videos of just, I Googled triangle stamp and different things. Ran across that in Pinterest. I'm like, that's it. That's where I'm going with this. So don't be afraid to use your inspiration and then give it your own twist. And these were all by includethankyou.com. I am on her design team, so just so you know, all of these products were given to me as far as the stamps are concerned for free just to use and feature and do whatever I want, which is like the best freedom a crafter and a design team member can ask for. And so I just create and use her stamps in any which way I can and hopefully give you guys some inspiration. And feel free to mimic or copy this, or hopefully this gives you some ideas for something else as well. So thank you all so very much for hanging with me, and I appreciate you all. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, I'll see you then.